Welcome to Chalk Talk, Danville Public Schools weekly news magazine. I'm Diane Locker, your host. This week we're at George Washington High School, and we're in a special section of George Washington High School, and that's down in the gym area, and we're here to talk to football players. And you might think we're going to be talking to them about what they've been doing this season. Yes, I'm going to include that, but what we're really here to talk about is what does this team do besides play football? What is it that they're doing out in the community? I have Nick Anderson, the coach, here with me. And Nick, you and I are going to kind of start off by talking about what the team's been doing this year. Keep in mind that I'm not a football person. But I want to ask you about a few of the things that I've been reading and hearing about the team. Now, it sounds like if everything I'm reading is correct, you're having a very good year.
Yeah, we're doing real well. We started off the season facing some really tough competition. Ended up losing one game at the beginning of the season, but we've done well, and everybody's playing hard, and we're on a little bit of a winning streak right now. We got our last game of the season coming up on Friday.
Now, I'm going to go back to something that I read. Somebody, and you corrected me on this. I said you're number one, but you were ranked number one in this area. Is that the correct way to say it?
It was something the newspaper put on. It's the Dan River region in this area. Tunstall, Gretna, Chatham, all of those schools. We're number one in our region. As far as the playoffs go, we're in 4D region, and we're number 3 overall in that region.
Now, what about the game, the most recent game you had, I believe was Friday night, was Bassett. And that was what they call, and I don't want to sound like I know what I'm talking about, a high-scoring game, 70-7.
Yeah, we scored 70 points. Our defense was able to hold Bassett to 7. So on both sides of the ball, and including special teams, we played an all-around game.
Now, didn't you also have one of the players named as Player of the Week this week?
I think the newspaper said that Wesley Graves was Player of the Week. He passed the 1,000-yard rushing mark this past week.
1,134 yards is what he's accumulated, right?
I don't keep up with that.
See, I know and you don't know. Now, do we have Wesley back here with us?
No, we do not. I called for him out of class, but he must be taking a test. He didn't get to come.
Okay. Now, we're really here to talk about what these guys do other than just play football. There is no denying that in any high school, and right here at George Washington High School, football players are really looked up to. I think getting out into the community, is that the point to take the individuals that people are looking up to out into the community? Is that what you're looking for when we do these things?
Well, I think it's just extremely important for our guys to realize how much people do for them, and it's something we talk about to our guys, with feeding them and providing them with different clothing materials or whatever it might be, but also then be able to go out to those people and help them when they're in need. I think it's huge to get out into the public and do volunteerism and get out there and just help where we're needed.
But don't you think it gives a different view of the football team and certainly a different view of George Washington High School?
Absolutely. I think a lot of times we get stereotyped as maybe not being the best high school in the area. When I tell people when the door's open, we just take what comes in the building. We try to do the best that we can with them. But as far as our football team goes, we have very good kids. They work extremely hard in the classroom, in the weight room, and on the field. And then in instances like we're talking about now, they spend their time giving back and helping out their community.
Now, let me ask you something about qualifications. If I wanted to get on the football team, what is it that you're looking for? What type of academics do they have to have? What occurs to get on this football team? And they probably started sometime before they got to high school, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, they have to be academically eligible.
What does that mean, academically eligible?
The semester before our football season, which is the end of the school year the previous year, before summer break. They have to pass at least 3 out of 4 classes, have to be grade promoted. Obviously, one of those has to be English, and they have to go 6 out of 8 for the entire school year.
What I want to do now is, for the best part of this show, is I'm going to get back here and I'm going to talk to these guys and see how they feel about this.
Okay.
Thanks for talking to me.
Thank you.
Devontae, I chose you first simply because I talked to you at the beginning of the year.
Yes, ma'am.
We were here with the superintendent walking around the school talking about the first day of school, and I happened to talk to you. And one of the things you said that you were so excited to coming back to school was the fact that you were coming back to the football team.
Yes, ma'am.
That was the highlight of your year. How's it going?
It's going great. Having a great season. Everybody just doing good. Having fun.
All right, what's your position?
Defensive tackle.
Defensive tackle. And that's all I'm going to say about that because I don't have any idea what a defensive tackle does. So, but I want to talk to you about the latest thing that the football team has done, and that is the crop walk. Tell me a little bit about the crop walk. What was it for?
I think it was for mostly just to end hunger. I mean, we was out there. It just got a whole lot of people in the community to walk all throughout Danville. It was a great experience.
Now, did you walk as a team, or did you team up with different people that were walking? How did that go?
Well, some of the football players, we split up into groups, and we got at each station, and we directed the people where to walk to.
Now, when you do something like that, and I think the team has done other things, what does that make you feel like when you're out there in the community?
It feels great. It's always good to see people from Danville get out and do things together.
I said to the coach when we started is that football team members are always looked up to in the school and in the community. Do you feel a responsibility when you go out in the community because of that?
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
Mainly because football is just the biggest sport in high school, and everybody just can't wait to see football players and stuff like that. So if they see you doing good, then they feel as if they should do good too.
That's wonderful. In other words, you're using your image to help them.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. I'm going to talk to some of these other guys. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Sam, what's your position on the team?
Tight end and safety.
Okay. What's a tight end do?
Tight end mostly, he does like a lot of things. Either he helps with the offensive line and block, or he like goes out for passes.
You don't have to worry about me correcting you because I have no idea what happens in football. Tell me, what's your grade level?
I'm a 12th grader.
You're a 12th grader. How many years have you been on this team?
All 4 of my years.
All 4 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you start in middle school?
Yes, ma'am. I played my 7th grade and 8th grade year.
Okay. Now, what are you going to do next year? You graduate this year.
Hopefully, I can attend Old Dominion University and major in mechanical engineering.
Mechanical engineering. What do you do with mechanical engineering?
It's like building.
Build a bridge?
Yeah, like building structures and stuff. So, yeah.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about going out into the community. Tell me, now I know you did the crop walk. What else has the team done this year?
We also helped at the Pros and Joes this past summer to help with like kids and fundamentals and stuff for like old players, NFL players.
Oh, you mean to work with them on football?
Yeah, but mainly. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
What was the age of the kids?
Ooh, I think.
I don't mean exact age, but are we talking about really young
18.
kids?
Yeah, about 5. Yeah, 5 to 11.
5 to 11. You got coached there. Okay, 5 to 11. How do these kids view you when you go out there and you're working with them? Be honest.
They view us as as football players, and they like look up to us because we're like older and stuff, and they think like we're like a NFL team or anything or something like that. But like they look at us as like leaders and stuff, and like to guide them and like that pretty much.
That's the responsibility of guys just like all of you, is that you have a responsibility because these kids look up to you to respect that and to help them.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're doing a good job.
Thank you.
I'm here with Barry right now, and what we're going to do before we go any further, though, is we're going to take a short break. Now, when we come back from the break, Barry and I are going to pick up with the things that this football team has been doing this year besides playing football.
Hello everyone, my name is Alexandra Reddy and I'm the Beta Club president here at Galileo Magnet High School. Let me tell you about Beta Club. Beta Club is a national academic club that focuses on community service. And in fact, our motto is let us lead by serving others. So every month, the Beta Club here at Galileo completes a service project for our community and also for our school. And then in February, we travel to the state convention where we compete with other schools in the areas of English, science, social studies, talent competitions, and it's a really awesome experience. But I also have the honor of being the Virginia State Beta Club president, an election that I won back in February at the convention. So this means that I have to travel to at least 2 other state conventions this year. There's North Carolina, South Carolina, all across the country that I am able to travel to. So I'm very blessed to be the state president, and I'm excited for what the year holds and making Galileo proud and making Virginia Beta proud.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, I'm at George Washington High School, and I'm talking with the guys that you see here with me about the George Washington High School football team, and we're not really talking so much about football as we're talking about what they do for the community. Barry, what's your position on the team?
Defensive back
A defensive back. How long have you been on the team?
for 3 years.
3 years. You started, what are you now? What's your grade level?
12th grader.
12th grade. So you started as a sophomore?
No, well, actually, I played JV, then I moved to varsity my 11th grade year.
Okay. Now, you've been on the football team, you said 3 years.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Tell me a little bit. I talked with Mr. We call them coaches here, don't we?
Yes, ma'am.
Not Mr., just Coach. All right. I talked with Coach when I started out, asking him about this year's games. And you're having a pretty successful year. Tell me what you think about this year. You heard what he said. How would you describe this year for the team?
Well, for the seniors, you know, it's our last season to play on varsity, so we just try to make it a great season, you know, come out and do everything we can do to keep winning and make it to the playoffs.
Now, are there a lot of seniors on this team this year?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that's why you're working so hard. This is your last year. Are you going to play football after this?
Well, I plan on either playing football or running track, but hopefully I can play football.
Okay, what are you going to do next year when you're out of school?
Well, I plan on going to a 4-year university and for computer info systems. And
That's a good field to be in. Tell me a little bit now about the volunteering that you guys have been doing this year. Now, I've heard about the crop walk, and I've heard about the program you did this summer, working with the, I think, 5 to 11-year-old kids on football. What are some of the other things you've done?
well, we went to elementary school and we helped them have the little field day. You know, we came out. We had a mascot. They were lit, like very excited to see us, and
Why do you think they were so excited to see you?
because like we're football players and they look at us like superstars.
Do you get a big head out of this?
A little bit.
Thanks for being honest. Thanks. Thanks for talking to me. That was cool. What's going to happen next year after you get out and graduate?
I plan to go to a 4-year college to major in business.
Major in business. So if you're going to major in business, you just plan on being rich, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. That's a good goal. Tell me about the volunteering and why you think it's so important that guys like you go out and volunteer in the community.
Just to give back to our community. Like Coach said, they label us as football players, but it's more than that. It's more to it. We have to show that it's for our community. Everything we do is for our community. We win, it's for our community.
Being labeled as a football player is kind of a neat thing, though, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
And you know kids look up to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I asked Barry if it gave him a big head, and he said sort of. What about you?
Kind of too. It's just great to see kids looking up to us, because you got to understand, one point of life we was looking at for GW football players wow, I can't wait till I be that one day. So it's good.
Have you ever heard the term playing it forward? It means that you do something nice for somebody so that they'll do something nice for somebody else. And that's kind of what you're saying. You looked up to football players when you were a kid. Now that's playing forward. Here you are, a football player.
Yes, ma'am.
And proud of it.
Yes, ma'am. Very proud of it.
Now, I've heard about the crop walk, working with the kids in the summer, and what else has the team done? I heard a little bit earlier when we were trying to discuss things before the show, something about visiting a church.
Yes. Over the summer we visited a church, and I think they fed. I wasn't a part of that one, but I think they fed kids and stuff, and fed like hand out food to the hungry.
Justin, you participated in that program at the church.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I think he was saying earlier that you kind of like fed people.
Actually, we made bags of like rice and oats, nutrients, so we could pack those bags and send them off to Africa for our hungry children and things like that.
That's kind of neat. That's kind of neat, working with the church. Now, what grade level are you?
I'm in the 12th grade.
Everybody I've talked to has been a senior today. I hope you're leaving somebody behind to play next year.
I hope so too.
Now, what are you going to do after graduation?
Hopefully, I can go to the University of Virginia and study commerce with concentration in marketing and international business.
Another one of these people that plans to be rich?
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks for talking to me. I'm here with two of the players that happen not to be seniors. Everyone I've talked to has been a senior, and I asked several of them what's going to happen when you leave, what's going to happen to the team. And basically what's going to happen to the team is guys like you.
I think the team will be fine. We're losing a lot of seniors' help that we had doing good this season, but I think we'll have some that's coming up that could fill in their spot and step up for us, and we'll have a great season next year.
Now, you're a sophomore. Is this your first year or second year on the team?
This is my first. I played JV last year, but this is my first year on varsity.
When you played JV, where'd you play?
I played receiver and defensive back.
Defense. Are you playing that now?
Right now, I'm mainly on one side of the ball at receiver, but sometimes I step in and help at safety or corner whenever they need me.
What's the difference in feeling and having people look up to you between JV and varsity?
It's a difference. JV, you don't. It's very like varsity players get looked at more than JV. So it's like varsity is like the older brother to JV. So you still looking up to varsity and hoping to be one of them one day. I mean, last year, I remember they wanted to move me up, but I was kind of nervous because I had to get used to things. But this year is different. It's better, and people look up towards me. It makes me feel happy. You know what? There's a lot more hoopla going on around varsity than there is in JV, and so you're just kind of enjoying the hoopla. Yes, ma'am. All right, all right. How many years you been on the team?
3.
3.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you're in the 11th grade, you started as a freshman?
Yes, ma'am. No, I ain't start. I was just a backup. I was the backup.
What does the backup do?
When the starter get hurt, that's when I go in the game.
Ah, you got to wait for somebody to get hurt?
Yes, ma'am.
That's kind of like, that's a hard way to go.
Yes.
You don't want them to get hurt, but they need to get hurt before you get in.
Yes, ma'am.
Who got hurt and when did you get in?
Well, he never really get hurt, so I just had to wait until my 11th grade year. Yeah.
All right, now tell me how you feel about going out into the community and doing the different things that the team does.
Oh, I feel that it is very helpful for the community and that it is bring a lot of excitement to the team.
Do you feel any responsibility towards the younger kids that you run into?
Yes, ma'am. Just having like putting on a positive role model for them, just not going out and doing anything because they look up to us.
You're the first one to use that term, positive role model, and I think that's the perfect way to put it. It gives them someone to look up to in a positive sense.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you play basketball too?
Yes, ma'am, I do, but I'm not going to play this year, though.
Yeah, I think you got to be the tallest person I've talked to here.
I might be.
Okay. Coach, I think it is so important that the community view these guys as they were today, not out on the field playing, that type of a thing. But basically, the community usually cheers for them. I heard a lot of cheers from these guys today for the community and the work that they do in the community, which I think is very important. And we joke around, and I joke around about football, but these guys are very important to our community and to our high school and how people look at us.
Yeah, they are. You know, it's something that we talk to our guys about, and how we break every huddle is we break on family. You know, I think that if our community could bond together and, you know, take ownership in, you know, Danville City, you know, the city limits, and treat this as a family. You know, we're all in this together. A lot of the things that we're seeing in the news maybe would, you know, be eliminated and be able to move on, and, you know, I think it's a great place to live.
I think that one point there, one of the players that I talked to, the very tall gentleman, he made the point of saying that they were a positive role model. And I think that's what we need more of across the board, not just football players, but a lot of positive role models in our community.
Absolutely. It's something that we try to teach our guys about, you know, leading by example. Anybody can sit and talk about what needs to be done and what changes need to be made. But if you're not doing it yourself, then there's no reason for you to talk. You need to get out there and do your part.
I think that was called back in the day, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the pollution, and that's basically what you're saying. You're either helping or you're not helping. Most of the players I talked to were seniors. Did talk to some, I think, sophomore and a junior. Are you losing the bulk of your team this year? How is it going to shape up for next year?
We are losing a lot of guys that we're really counting on this year. I feel like we've got a lot of young talent that can step in, and you know, once those guys get mature and get their strength levels up and their athleticism a little bit better, you know, they'll be able to step right in and be able to help us in the years to come. But right now, we're solely focused on, you know, who we got Friday night and making a run in the playoffs.
Now, did you say to me earlier in the show, now this particular show that we're filming now is going to air in about 2 weeks. You did say that you had a game next week, your last game.
Well, our last regular season game is this week against Halifax County.
Then what happens? Do you know if you're in any other games beyond that, or do you find that out later?
No, we're definitely in the playoffs. Playoffs will start next week. We don't know who we're playing as of right now, but you know, at that time it'll be lose and go home. So we just want to keep winning after that.
I want to thank you, and I want to thank all of you for being on the show today. And I want to say to everyone out there, you know, we look at these football teams, we get out there and we might be cheering on Friday nights, but I think it's really neat. And you heard all of these guys, when I talked to them today, talk about the responsibility they feel for those that are younger than them. One of the gentlemen, and this gentleman right here, told me that when he was younger, he wanted to be a football player, and now he is a football player. And he realizes that there's somebody out there that's young and looking at him that wants to be a football player. So congratulations to every one of these guys. I want to thank you for tuning in to watch us this week, and be sure and come back next week, because people in Danville Public Schools are doing some neat things.